Common knowledge about Noble Drew Ali that blacks, negroes, and colored refuse to accept. The part I forgot to add on here, but everybody else accepts it. So this is like common knowledge that you can find on the internet, like Europeans talking about it, Europeans writing books talking about it. Like this is what they know about Noble Drew Ali and these so-called people, that dark-skinned people, right? Two Americans of African descent who were rumored to have studied under Jamal ad-Din al-Afghani were the parents of the man who would one day establish Moorish science in the United States. According to one legend, Noble Drew Ali made a pilgrimage to North Africa, where he studied with Moorish scholars and received a mandate from the King of Morocco to instruct Americans of African descent in Islam. On his return to the United States in 1913, he had a dream in which he was ordered to found a movement to uplift fallen humanity by returning the nationality, divine creed, and culture to persons of Moorish descent in the Western Hemisphere. Noble Drew Ali is said to have made a historic visit to Washington, D.C. in order to reclaim the Moorish flag and obtain official recognition to call his people to their true faith, al-Islam. The U.S. President, believing the African Americans would not embrace Islam, gave Noble Drew Ali full authority to teach Moorish science in America. So he has full authority to do it, right? Not only does he have full authority to do it, but the U.S. President believed that African Americans would not embrace it, what he brought. Which, you know, to date, he's right, because we want to be everything except what we are, naturally. Right? Following the inexplicable death of Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish temple continued and gave rise to unique Islamic groups among the African American community, including the Nation of Islam. So, and this is common knowledge now. This is not something that you have to go delve deep and try to find. Everybody knows that the Nation of Islam came out of the Moorish movement after Noble Drew Ali passed. Like, that's common knowledge. Noble Drew Ali was 5 times greater than the last prophets before him. He is the last avatar sent to warn the nations of the earth. Noble Drew Ali restored the Moorish Americans as a new nation and sovereign power at the 1928 Pan American Conference for Indigenous Nations. Also in attendance was several tribal chiefs of continental nations, and the United States were represented by Secretary of State Hughes, who was in awe of the well-established constitution of Moorish American delegates. During the conference, Noble Drew Ali was given the mandate for the land, which the United States has been occupying on an expired mandate since 1871. After this Pan-American Conference of Human Nations, the United States' refusal to yield hallowed soil would result in severe warning by the Holy Prophet. Until my Moors are free in their own home, the worst is yet to come. The United States owe the Moors a great debt. They must pay in compound interest. The United States have one more war to win. Negroes, blacks, and colored denounce the prophethood of Noble Drew Ali. This is what people know, right? This is what people know, right? Marvin E. Jackman, Marvin X. Marvin X is well known for his work as a poet, playwright, essayist of the Black Arts Movement. He attended Merritt College along with Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale.
What's that? Marvin E. Jackman.
Marvin E. Jackman.
M-O-N. Jackman.
And then also too, notice, right, that, you know, for some strange reason, this Black Panther brother, Nation of Islam brother, got rid of the X foolishness and adopted a name that is more compatible to his biological makeup. Right?
Or Al. Al.
Now this is the interesting part coming up now. When Marvin dropped out of college, he lost his college deferment and was drafted but refused to serve, saying no Viet Cong called him a nigger. See his court speech, Black Scholar magazine, circa 1970. Muhammad Ali made the same assertion and went to prison. Not only did Marvin resist the draft, but he resisted arrest by going to Canada, in the tradition of his ancestors who fled there to escape slavery. Marvin X was interviewed on his relationship with the Moors for a documentary. He stated that during his Canadian exile, he lived in Toronto with Salome Bay, sister of Andy Bay.
I know her daughter.
Yeah.
You know her too. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Right? So just you could just look up Salome Bay.
Canaanland Moors.
Yeah. Andy Bay and the Bay sisters.
Right. Yeah. Huge.
So, and this is just to stress the point that, you know, even in Canada, don't think they don't know about Moors and who Moors were. Because, you know, Salome Bay was, like, she was international. Andy Bay was international. Right? That wasn't just some singers. That was like singers like Diana Ross and Aretha Franklin and whoever. Those weren't some nobodies in the music industry. Right? Europeans also enslaved Aboriginals in America. Native American slavery was also practiced by the English in the Carolinas, who sold Native American captives into slavery locally and on the English plantations in the Caribbean. One of the first tribes that specialized in slave raids and trade with Carolina was the Westo, followed by many others including the Yamasee, Chickasaw, and Creek. Historian Alan Galley estimates the number of Native Americans in Southeast America sold in the British slave trade from 1670 to 1715 as between 24,000 and 51,000. He also notes that during this period, more slaves were exported from Charlestown than imported. More slaves were exported than imported, which means that they weren't slaves, that they were exported. It was actually native people. Although the laws of 1712, 1722, and 1735 recognized the children of Indian slaves to be slaves, they also recognized as free those Indians in friendship with amity with the provincial government. The presumption of the law of 1740, which continued Indian slavery, was in favor of freedom and placed the burden of proof upon those who claimed Indians as slaves. Yeah. During the famed Seminole Wars of the early 1800s, captured Seminoles were legally redesignated as negroes and then sold into chattel slavery. Several Native Americans of New England were relocated to Bermuda. Many of the Wampanoag and Picayune nations were enslaved and sent to Bermuda. In 1670, British traders were found selling American Indians in places like Morocco. And that's from Othello's Children in the New World. Yeah. There was a Moorish chief who called himself Alfonso I, son of King João da Silva and Queen Eleanor, who ruled his lands not with chiefs and elders, but with nobles. Alfonso I, Lord of the Congo, sat on a throne inlaid with gold and ivory and draped with leopard skins. He was dressed in the fashion of a Portuguese noble, with scarlet tabard, pale silk robe, satin cloak with embroidered coat, arms, and velvet slippers. And see if you can get a hold of this book, The Indian Slave Trade, The Rise of the English Empire in the American South, by Alan Galley. So, to close out, we're just going to look at some fezzes that European free Moorish master masons wear. Just to ask the question, you know, like, supposedly they're Christian. So what are these Christians doing with obelisk written on their fez, Haji written on their fez, Nubia, Syria, right? Islam on their fez, Muslim on their fez, Morocco on their fez, El Bay on their fez. right? What's the purpose of them having these names on their fezzes? Why? Why stuff having to do with Moors on their fezzes?
It's El Bay, I know it's
Yeah, El Bay, right? This is George Washington Masonic Museum in Virginia, where they have this trophy case of fezzes. And people from all around the world, right? People from all around the world come to this museum to take pictures of all these fezzes in a case to protect them. Right? Everything's on there. Aloha, Al Quran, Anar, Ansar, right? Arabia,
Badoon. You know the Gaddafi's a Badoon.
Badoon, right? Emil,
Barack.
ISIS.
Oh my gosh, Barack.
Yeah,
But that means chi your life force energy in there.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right? Alhambra,
Yeah.
right?
Al Quran.
What I saw there was all
Actually, no,
plagiarized.
Barack.
Right.
They want to put people in prison or school, kick you out or whatever for plagiarizing.
Right.
But they're plagiarizing everything that there is to plagiarize.
Exactly. Right? And lastly, Sambo's pancakes. Sambo is a racial term for a person with African heritage and in some countries also mixed with Native American heritage. Historically, the racial cross between African slaves and Amerindians was referred to as Zamboga, then Zambo, then Sambo. And just notice that he's wearing his turban with his jewel crown. And then there's another picture of a Moor with a turban wrapped around his fez. And if anybody's interested in the astonishing breakthrough wellness drink that helps your body experience an optimal state of wellness, relieving pain, improve breathing, reduce swelling in joints and muscles, etc. Trivita.com/14041756. Next week, February 12th, we have Brother Adiza Hanib L, Bleach History Month, and Lord Nature L Bay, Skype lecture,
I like that. History.
correcting Black history. See y'all next week. And also tomorrow, we're going to be streaming live tomorrow, so if anybody's able, catch us online, morishguidepost.com/MST online.